Give me 15 seconds.
I pressed the button.
3.
Hey guys, hey, we're gonna get started right now. What an honor! It's 7 p.m. Pacific. By the way, if you guys aren't, Craig, if you could just mute real quick, or that way we can, because it'll toggle back and forth. Just kind of.
Come on, Dave. Hold on.
All right, guys. Hey, I'm honored to be starting today's first simulcast, or simulcast. I'm sorry, visioncast. Visioncast here at Secret. Josh Denne here. We got Craig Holliday as a guest, and we're going to be sharing with you some great content. I'm actually currently in the Melbourne Secret headquarters here in Australia. It is actually 2 p.m. The time zone here, 2 p.m. here, and on Monday. So I'm actually, I'm in a different day than most of you probably are. I know there's people that are logged in from Canada, from Mexico, from all over the United States, here in Australia, South Korea, Japan now, and I know probably other places in the world as well. This is a very exciting broadcast today. We're going to be talking about some information that's more pertinent to the U.S. and North American, or I say North American and South American marketplace because of the convention that's coming up. And there's going to be a lot of great content as far as Secret goes, and maybe you're brand new to the whole Secret community. Maybe you're just on this webinar because a friend of yours was excited and said, hey, you got to take a look at what we're doing with Secret. And we're going to share a little bit about why Secret would be a good opportunity for you to participate in, why it would be something that could benefit you and benefit your family. In fact, you'll probably see throughout this webinar why the friend or family member or colleague that invited you on this webinar is so excited. And they have every reason to be excited because of what Secret's doing in the marketplace, not just in your hometown or your state or your country, but all around the world. So there's a lot of exciting things going on. We have with us today one of the best in the profession of home-based business, direct selling, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to introduce him in a moment, but before I do that, I want to let you know a little bit about Secret. As you can see by some of the pictures behind me, some of the products over here on the display shelf, we are a skincare company. That's what Secret does. They provide the best solutions for people's skin. And previously, they've been doing retail in some of the highest-end shopping centers around the world, up to 1,000 retail locations, to my knowledge, in 40 countries, and they were marketing these products at over $1 billion in this format at twice the price of what you and I can market it for. Well, how's that happen? It happens because they've decided to, this company Secret, which is this global skincare brand, like I said, already sold over $1 billion worth, already proven in the retail world to market on a shelf in a high-end store without a business opportunity, and they realize that they are able to scale down some of the liabilities like the real estate and the various links in the chain of distribution. They can save cost for the consumer. That's right. They can take this high-end quality product and deliver it to the consumer for as much as 50% off. So the consumer gets to win, the customer wins. And how do they do that? They replace the traditional marketing like television, internet television, that kind of thing, with tell a friend. Okay, just like your friend told you, hey, get on this webinar and take a look. And by them doing that, they're able to take some margin and give that discount to the consumer and share the wealth with you and I. That's why you're hearing about so much success all around the world that people are achieving with Secret. They're paying you and I to help them build the customer base. Now, the good news is you and I will get paid for helping the company acquire the customer one time, but then every time that customer orders, every time they decide to buy another Secret product because it's a consumable, right? They wash with the bar soap and it eventually goes away. They use a bottle of shampoo and it runs out. They use a moisturizer or a lotion or a foot cream or a hand cream or one of our incredible products, and when they run out, they like it so much, they buy it again. Well, guess what? If you're the person who introduced them to the Secret products, the company's going to pay you. And then they pay you again every time they purchase. Well, it only stands to reason that they do that, right? Because you're the one who recommended the product. You're the one that said, hey, listen, friend, family member, colleague, whatever, I like these products. You may like them too. They use them, they like them, they buy them, you get paid. And that's how this business model works. You can also set up points of distribution, and it's phenomenal. We have with us today an individual that's going to explain a little bit more about that. His background's remarkable. We're going to hear about that in a moment. But he has started off in very humble beginnings and went on to fill up stadiums, where he'd have 25,000 human beings that were a part of a network that he and a team of leaders he assembled, built, that came and filled up a stadium to hear this man speak. He has been sought out from leaders all over the world to be a consultant, to learn from this man because of what he's accomplished in his life. And he's here with Secret. Of all the places he could be, he decided to put his energy here with us at Secret. He brings tremendous value. He's a diamond with our company. He is earning a fortune and helping other people do the same. And so it's an honor, Craig Holliday, to have you here. And just want to, if you could real quickly, kind of share your story with some of the audience here. Let them know why you're here.
Thanks, Josh. I appreciate it, man. Hello down under on the day ahead of us. That's crazy. Look at social media. When I got involved in network marketing in 1979, bro, we didn't have social media. We had you could pick up a phone and make a phone call, or you had those phones that looked like the kind that hang on the wall that you carried around. That was about all we had in those days. But yeah, it's a blessing to be here and be a part of this company and the community that we're a part of. And I got involved back in 1979 in the Amway business and knew nothing about network marketing. Ran a construction company, worked in law enforcement, and just was a guy at 29 years old that had a big dream and wanted to change his life and believed that he had something greater for himself to do than just go to work every day and come home. And so I looked at the Amway business in '79, got excited about it. I think I understood it in the beginning. It was, my sponsor said, find 6 people, change their life, and you'll be wealthy. And I kind of laughed about that. But I remember him saying this, Josh. He said, find 6 people that'll cut the right arm off for you, but you got to be willing to cut them both off for them. Well, when he said that, I got a little bit better idea as I started to build what it's all about, and that's connecting and building relationships and loyalty. And so went on to build that company, and I fell in love with people. Went to work, and my third year in the business, I made over $1 million, and I went on to build the Amway business for the next 25 total years, so 22 more years of being active and opening many countries with Amway around the world, and speaking in Mexico City with 50,000 people in an arena. And it's the same vision. I know what we're going to do here with us. I mean, I just saw some videos from Korea. I guess they had 10,000 people in Korea over the weekend, and Betty and Isaac were there. And that doesn't surprise me because of where we're going, and I know what we're able to do and with this community.
Craig, that brings me to a good point. You've kind of seen the future in many ways. I think a lot of people haven't been able to see or really have that advantage of foresight like you have, where you've been in a space in life where you were in that right moment, that right time, you put the energy in, and you watched what it became. And I know you're seeing that here with Secret. So maybe you can explain a little bit of the benefit where people are. I mean, it doesn't matter where you are in the world right now. That opportunity, like the one that you had, is available.
Right.
Is it?
Absolutely. And one of the reasons why I'm here, besides the Ben Shabbat family, the leadership of people like you, Josh, is I'm a businessman. And when I saw the business side of where we are, and I saw a company go from an incredibly close to $1 billion company in kiosks around the world and say, we're going to change it all up. And Isaac said, we're going to step into a business that we don't really know much about, and we're going to trust you leaders, you guys that were here in the beginning, we're going to trust you to run with this thing. That's crazy. That's crazy. He's trusting his entire fortune to some guys he fell in love with and that were in the industry. And so when I saw that, I knew, because building the culture in my Amway business, I knew I want to be the culture builder. And the opportunity today, if you're a leader out there, if you're sitting there tonight and you've always been the CEO of your own business, or you've been the captain of the football team, and you've always been a leader, that's what we're looking for. Because, it took me, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years in Amway. I got on the board of directors, and I became a leader of leaders in that company. But it took me a while because it was so established with that leadership. In our business, it's just wide open. I mean, and that's what attracted me to it, because I've always believed I was a leader, but I wanted to take something from where it was to the 50,000 stadium, to the 25,000 person stadium. And that's where I see us headed. And that I get just fired up about it, because I just know without a doubt in my mind, because, and it's always been one-to-one, right? One person brings in another who brings in another. And people that are outside the industry go, how's that even possible? I don't know, but it works. And that's what we do. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Craig, here's the thing, and I know you've talked about this before, but if you're new out there, like someone's brand new, they're looking at this for the first time, and they go, what do I really do? Like, what are my daily actions? Maybe they believe it right now. They say, okay, I get it. There are people having success. Obviously, these products are phenomenal. I've seen them. I've seen them work. I've seen them on my face. I've seen the results. I've seen them on other people. I know they work. You know, building the customer base, I get it. But how do you build a fortune? You know, we got this convention coming up. You know, going to events. I don't understand how this all works. What do I do, Craig Hawley? What do I do to be able to achieve the kind of success that you have in your life with this opportunity?
Well, I think the first thing is you got to believe. You got to believe, because the biggest challenge people get in, they might be really excited, but they don't think they can find anybody that's going to get excited, right? They don't see, you know, they don't think they can find 8 or 10 or 12 people. And by the way, I just want you to know, 8 or 10 or 12 people can build you a 25,000 person stadium. There's no question about it. And so I think there's a lack. Who can I really find those people? And then once you put your list together and you go out and start sitting down with people, you'll be blown away at how many people are struggling with their life. And how many people were like me or like you, Josh, that just said, I need a shot. I just want a shot. You know, I just want the guy to come along and give me an opportunity. I don't want a silver spoon. Just give me a shot. And so when I got involved in the business, and I built it fast, you know, and I in the beginning and in Amway and in Secret we got launched, and it was just because I knew there were people like me out there. And I knew if I went and shared with enough of those people and I showed up in enough of those people's lives, that they would want to be a part of my team, and that they have big enough hopes and dreams that they refuse to not have it. And I just went out and found those people. And it's crazy. And I found truck drivers, and I found physicians, and I found law enforcement, and they were all different walks of life. But the common denominator was they all wanted freedom, and they all wanted to be in business and own their life again. And you know what? They're out there. We just need to believe.
How do you? Okay, so if I'm believing, I'm fired up. I believe. I really have confidence in myself. What were some of the things you did, like on a daily basis? What did you say to someone? Okay, or did you make a list? Did you just talk to random people off the street? You know, I mean, in the beginning, I used to think I had to go knock on doors. I guess I would have to have that kind of success. But like, what do you actually do?
Well, what I did was I made a list of names, and every week I called until I had 6 appointments a week. Okay, I would call you up and say, Josh, what are you and Cindy doing Tuesday night? You'd say, nothing. We're home. I'm going to stop by. I want to talk to you. And so 6 nights a week, 6 nights a week, 6 nights a week, I was sharing the business with people. Just put it in front of them, letting them try our products. But, you know, more of it was business. Hey, what are you looking for? You know, I always believe that never tell them your story till you hear theirs. And so my first thing was, what's your why? What do you want? What do you want in your life that you're not going to have? And if you don't change something, will you have that? And so I did that night after night after night after night after night after night after night. So I'd show the business, 2 days later, do a follow-up, yes or no. And I'd move on to the next one. Because I knew that I couldn't make anybody successful, but I had to find the right people. And so most people stop too soon, right? You know, there's always that next person that could be the Josh Denne or the John Malott or the success in this business, that one next person. And so I was just so excited, and I drove a beat-up car, and I didn't have nice clothes, and I'd show up to these houses, and I'm sure people looked at me like, what's your deal? But I just had such a big dream and such a big why that it didn't matter to me. And I went day after day after day, and I just put my head down, and I didn't judge it in 30 days. I didn't judge it in 6 months. I knew it was a 5-year plan for me. And so I just said, I'll work as hard as I can for 5 years. I mean, if you think about it, if I said to you, Josh, there's a giant pile of manure out here, I'm going to give you a shovel, and I want you to shovel 8 hours a day for 5 years. I'm not going to pay you very much money, but at the end of those 5 years, you're going to be a multimillionaire. Who wouldn't do it, right? We all would, right? So I just know for a lot of us, we just need to be, in our business, we need to think longer term. We don't get discouraged when we know that there's a price to pay in a time in the business. And you know what? It's a perfect business that the more effort you put in, the more rewards you get when you're doing the productive things. And you've always heard me say productivity is a new face every day. A new face every day. That's productivity. Otherwise, it's management, right? We can't go back to the same people again. We can't go back and try to get the same customers. We got to get new faces. And when it's new faces, so by the time I went diamond in the business, and that year I made $1 million, I had shown the business, I figured out I was in the business 967 days, and 863 of them, I showed the business to somebody. It was either a hotel meeting, a house meeting, or a one-on-one. I was just crazy. You just went through the numbers. I mean, and I know that's kind of like the contradictory thing. Go through the numbers, and you have to keep friends first. But I know you, Craig. You care about people. You love everyone. You want everyone to win. But at the same time, you don't count on them.
and you just keep talking to the next person, next person, next person with your dream, with your goal, looking for someone like you that has the same goals and dreams to be able to be more in life. Isn't that true?
Absolutely. And it was finding that person that wanted to be on my team, finding that person that understand working together. Look, because what I find is a lot of people come into our business, and what they love the most is that they've got somebody they can team up with to win, to win in life. Because how many people are out there by themselves? And so a big part of it was I found men, and women, but I worked a lot with men, which is my kind of my passion in ministry and stuff. But with men, all I did was challenge them to step up and change their life, and they were waiting for someone to come along and show up. And those guys became incredible. And I didn't take very many of them to build that team. And so, it was just falling in love with those guys and then being a leader to them. And it's not a hard business, but it takes effort, and you got to have some grit.
Let me ask you this, because you touched on something that's important. I think a lot of people out there, yes, they want to make money. Yes, they want to do well for their families, but they want their life to matter. They want to be able to give back and help other people. And how rewarding is it, when you kind of told me that day that, you took those people, those leaders that and you took them to that stadium and it was empty. And, you kind of made me describe that story, but you painted this vision for them. And then, it wasn't but a few years later that vision was now a reality, and these people were unbelievably successful. How good did it feel to help other people have that kind of success that you did?
I think that's the thing that keeps people going in our business, because you get in for one reason, you stay in for another. You get in for one reason, you stay in for another, because the relationships you build, the people that have those eyes that look at you with this, they don't even say it, but they look at you, and what they're saying, do you really believe I can do it? Do you really believe in me? And to know, and you and I have talked about this, Josh, to know that your greatest moments won't be your 7-figure check. It won't be it'll be when you sit in an audience and your people are on a stage having success. Because you were there when they didn't believe. You were there, and that's the greatest blessing for us in this business, is to see those people's lives change. I mean, there's no price tag on that. That's that commercial, priceless, right? Priceless. It's just to see that person, whether it's a Jimmy, the old story of Jimmy the truck driver, or whether it's just some single mom you sat down with and you helped her make $500 more a week. She's got 3 kids. I mean, whatever it is, that's the blessing. That's the thing that comes. That's the significance. And what I love is Isaac gets that. The family gets that. You guys get that. There's so many companies out there that came to me, and you sit down with them and they don't get that. They don't have that mentality that it's not about you, it's about others. And I think that's why we're growing like we are. That's why people are coming in here and they're going, wow, this is different. This isn't like anything else I've seen. And that's the purity that I fight to keep in that culture that we all believe in.
Absolutely, Craig. Now, since we're here on this topic, we have an opportunity. And again, if you're all over the world, this may be a little bit more difficult for you to do, but in America, we've got a convention actually in Las Vegas. So I know I've actually met with these amazing Australian group. The people in Australia are just unbelievable people. And there's a whole bunch of them going to Las Vegas to this convention. Australia, it's a long trip, right, over a huge ocean. I think it's the longest trip over any body of water to get to America. They have to pay their airfare, that they get the hotel, that they buy their tickets to go to a convention. And for somebody like I was, or maybe like you were, Craig, in the very beginning, you were a police officer, construction worker, and I worked in a machine shop. And when someone told me, hey, you got to go to this convention, I thought they were crazy. I'm like, well, why would I have to go to this convention? I don't need to be motivated. I'm already excited. I don't need to hear some motivational talks. But when I went, it was very different, and it really changed my life. And Craig, I want to get your opinion, your vantage point of why these conventions are so important. We got March, in March, the movement convention coming up. Why is that important? And why are people flying across oceans and coming across all over the world to be in Las Vegas?
Well, I think if anybody on the video tonight's been to an event, it's easy to promote it because you've been there. The faith comes, or the trust comes, for those of you that are on this webinar tonight that are brand new in the business. You're brand new and you've never been to an event yet, and your sponsor says to you, you need to be there, right? And you go, well, I don't know if I can afford it. And so the toughest thing for your upline and your sponsor is to try to convince you why you need to be there. But I think part of it has to go back to the reality of when you get in this business, the person that sponsored you in this business, you know without a doubt in your mind, even if it was purely from a business perspective, they want you to succeed. Even if it wasn't because they love you or they think you're the best thing in the world, just from a business perspective, making money, they want you to be the most successful you can be, because the more successful you are, the more successful they are. Well, then from that perspective, if they're telling you to go there, there must be a reason. There's got to come a trust point that comes in. And, you know, and for all of us, we have to get to that point. These events, what happens at conventions? It's just like you can meet people on the phone and talk and stuff, but when you step into the humanity, when you step into the passion, when you hear stories of people's lives, that's the priceless thing I talked about before. So you're going to come to convention. In Vegas is going to be a show, and we got the Jockoweezies, or I don't even know how to say it, but we got all these incredible stuff, and it's going to be a show, but that won't be your I mean, those are going to be great, and they're going to motivate you, but your greatest moments will be, you know, when you walk out, we break, and you walk out and you sit and you talk to somebody who came there on a bus across the country and told you their story, and you're going, oh my gosh, right? Because it's lives connecting. You know, I always say we're many hands, one heart, and you can't feel a weekend like that and the heart of our business until you come there. And I think when you walk in the doors of our secret convention, and it's the thing I've felt in the industry before when I built. When you walk into the doors, there's a heartbeat that's there that you cannot describe. And what I say happens, Josh, and you know this, is it goes from your heart and it trickles down, or from your head and it trickles to your heart. It's a trickle-down effect that'll happen at convention. And you know what? My story, and I think I told it last time we were on the webinar, but it's important. My first event I ever went to, you know, I was broke. My sponsor says you got to be there, and so I trusted him because I knew he wanted me to get rich. He wanted me to make a lot of money, so I said, okay, I'll go. So it was in Portland Coliseum up in Portland. I think it holds 15,000. It was sold out, and I was sitting up at the very, very top of that event in that convention. And this couple came out on stage, and they told the story of their life. And I was sitting up there with the terrible clothes on. I had holes in my shoes. I had no money. And I remember standing up. I was at the very top, as high as you can be. And I remember standing up there and listening to this couple tell their story of their life. And it was a story of struggle and a story of overcoming and a story of abuse. It was just an incredible success story. And I remember it was at that moment that I knew without a doubt in my mind I was going to build this business. I knew without a doubt in my mind that everything that had happened in my life to this point had purpose in it. And it was to build this business, to stand on a stage, because here's what did it, Josh. I looked around me, and this guy over here is crying, and this woman's got the Kleenex out, and I saw the impact that this couple had on this stage in the lives of those 15,000 people. And that's what made me realize that's what I got to do. I've been called to do that. And so you can't get that on a webinar. You can't get it reading a book. You have got to step into the lives of other people and see the real life stories of humanity and overcoming and the people whose lives have changed. And that weekend is what you get from the time you walk in there. And so it's a really emotional thing. It's hard to share because it's such a passionate thing. Sure, there's training. But I promise you, when you leave, when someone says, how was it, you'll just go, I can't even describe it, right? But you have to trust. You have to have faith. We don't beat this up. We don't drive this into your head because we just need you to come to convention. You know, you're $100 and some. That's not what it's about. We don't make a cent on that. None of us leaders make a cent on the event, but we promote it because your life will change when you get there, period. And that's what fires me up.
It fires me up too, Greg. I remember the first time going to an event, and I just didn't know what I didn't know, and it revolutionized things for me. You said something in the beginning that really encapsulated what we're trying to say here. Is it's about belief. I didn't have the belief. I didn't have the belief in me. I didn't know if I believed it was going to happen for anyone else. But when I saw it with my own eyes, and I met people, and I felt that transfer of energy from other people, I came back, I was bulletproof, and it didn't matter. And it made all the difference between, you know, making a fortune and not making any money. I seemed like I was saying the same words, but I was getting drastically different results because of that event. And everyone has that opportunity coming up here March 13th through the 15th. In fact, if you're a leader in the company, you want to get with your schedule, there's events for the people who've rank advanced like crazy starting on the 11th. But you want to stay, I'd say, at least through the 16th. But the main days, 13th through the 15th in March at Las Vegas. Now, we're going to ask you, if you haven't registered, you're going to want to register immediately on your back office. Go ahead and log in to your back office, your secret agent back office. If you don't know what I'm talking about, once you enroll this evening from the person who brought you on this website, you're going to have your own software application program that's second to none, where you can track everything. But back there, you'll get your login and a password, and you can step through and have access to the most state-of-the-art reporting program ever developed that Secret has the proprietary information on. And then through there, you'll have the ability to not only register for this convention, but register your hotel room. Now, it's important to note because we're getting to the point where the hotel room is going to be open for the public. I think they're pretty much sold out, but there's only a few days left to get your rooms at like $109. This is unheard of during March Madness during the convention, okay? This is crazy. $109 for your room. Register. Book your hotel room. You can also do that through the back office. Make a reservation there online. If you haven't done that, you want to do that immediately so you can lock in your space at that convention. You don't want to be the staying 20, 30, 40 minutes down the strip, at some who knows what kind of hotel. But you want to be in the energy with the people. So any final words on this, Craig? We're going to open it up to questions. By the way, we're going to go into questions in a moment, and this is kind of the rough format. This is the first one on Sunday. What we're going to typically do moving forward is we're going to be doing some great recognition on these calls, recognizing your achievements, having people on there that you're going to hear great stories of people that are coming up through the ranks at all levels so you can relate with everybody. You're going to be seeing some of the company announcements here. We have some great stuff. In fact, we have a real quick video to play on this conference. And Jason, if you could cue that up right now, we're going to play this video. It's just a few minutes, and then we're going to go into questions and answers. And what you want to do is type your name into the box. It's right below you on the screen, so we know who you are. You can remain anonymous if you wish, but there's a lot of questions, and I'd like these questions to be more about the convention or business related. If they're product questions or things like that, customer service can help you first thing tomorrow morning in the U.S. or today if you're in Australia, depending on where you are in the world. You can call your customer service for those types of questions. Because of this sheer volume that we get, I'm just going to have to go through the ones that are specific to Craig, specific to the business, or specific to the movement convention. So let's play that video. Everyone stay tuned, and we're going to come right back for questions and answers. So roll that video. All right, well, here we go. I don't hear anything. Do you hear anything, Craig?
We see ourselves being the top in the industry. We see ourselves as being the top in skincare. We see ourselves being one of the biggest companies in the world.
And some people say it's just skincare. It's just a cream. It's just a moisturizer. Well, absolutely not. Care about people's skin.
Your life is significant. Your life could be revolutionary. How many of you guys are ready for maybe another secret mission? The reason why you start a revolution, it should be so big. It should be so strong within you. It should burn inside.
I want you to say, why not me? It is now time for you to stop cheering for everyone else's success and start cheering for your own.
Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. You catch on to Isaac's dream, you catch on to Isaac's vision. The way that's going to happen is not just with the few leaders, but it is with the crowd, with the multitude of leaders.
It's going to take all of us to have a personal revolution so we can start a movement. Each and every one of us is going to have to come to a decision where it says, my freedom is worth whatever it takes.
If I'm going to the top of this mountain, you will find me dead on the side of the road getting it. So eventually I had to get the courage up. You can't build this thing without a little courage. You can't build this thing without a little fortitude.
Now we need you. Because this story is not going to be told. That magic is not going to be felt without you.
It just takes one individual to make that decision. But to complete the revolution, it's going to take all of us.
That's how you start the revolution. You don't wait. You act now.
I feel this is a moment that is going to change our life. That if we can relate to it, it's going be so powerful?
That's where it starts. It's the spark in the soul. It's the spark in your mind that says, yes, you were made for something better.
You got to say, look, man, I'm going to raise my belief system. That's what this weekend's about. Raising your belief system to a point that no matter what, nothing can knock you out of the box with this opportunity.
Take this energy back home, and it's time to pay it forward to so many others. You know, we were given this gift, and it's time for us to give it back to others.
We have the best product. We have the best leadership. We have the best community. Can't lose.
We're unstoppable. We have so much power when we're as a group together that this can take us to ways and places that we never dreamt before. Only few people are going to come over here and say, okay, I'm going to change my life tomorrow. Only few people are willing to make the commitment and to work as hard as it takes to change their family history.
The system is there. All you need to do is follow the system. I think if I can do it, anybody can.
Stand up with me right now and tell them we are victorious. Because secret, whether it looks like to you or not, we are victorious.
How can I help this person? What is it that I can show them the secret to help them get that?
It'd be tough to be the one that says, I make the decision, that I'm going with it without you.
This is it, you guys, right here, right now. We got to make it happen.
Some people make things happen, some people watch things happen, and some people say, what happened? Make a decision, up to you at the top. Do you love Secret? Do you love the community that you're a part of? Are you happy with everything that we're doing? And we're going to do much more. But now, if you want to create a movement, now this is your time to give.
All right. Good stuff, guys. All right, I'm telling you, that video gets me fired up. You guys can watch it again through Secret.
Yeah, I love that video. I love that video. It's unbelievable.
I mean, it's one of the best tools to use. I'm going to just give you a quick story. And then just so you know, Craig, we got Zach Cheney next week. As those who don't know, Zach Cheney, Zach is a phenomenal leader within the company. He's a diamond, ring earner, all that. But he's got more people registered in actually America than anybody else. Actually, if you put America, Canada, Mexico all together, him and his team, they come in force. He's going to be talking about a little bit more detail how that works, how to do it, because I know that one of the most important things you can do in this business is get other people to feel the way you do about it. And that's why everyone gets excited, and you start to build a team that way. And Zach's going to be delivering some phenomenal content next week, and I know there's a lot of people right now that are excited. They probably already registered. If you haven't gone onto the site to do that, you've got to do that tonight to get your hotel room. Don't wait. Believe me, this happens every year. People say, I'm going to wait, and then they end up not being in the hotel and all bummed out. So don't be that person. Okay, be the person who registers early and gets involved. Now, we're going to go through these questions. I'm going to actually refresh the page right now. And Craig, is there any final comments you want to say before we move into the question and answer session?
Well, it's just one thing I always think about is if you're brand new to the company and brand new in the business, and you plan on staying in, which I'm sure you do, that the next convention that comes around, and you want your team to come and you want to promote people to come, they're going to ask you, well, tell me what the last one was like. And if you have to actually say to them, well, I didn't go, well, your credibility is just gone down. Plus, you've just given them an excuse not to go. So my statement is this: if you plan on being in the business for our next convention, which will be this year in the fall, if you plan on still being here, then you need to be at convention. Because as a leader, when those people say to you, hey, you know what? Hey, Josh, what was it like? Tell me about it. And you go, well, I didn't really go because we had some you just gave every one of them an excuse not to go. So I just want to throw that out there. And, is the fact is you got to be there so that next time you can promote the business and talk about what happened, not what you heard happen. And that's going to be important for you for promoting. And the other thing I want to say real quick, and then we go to questions, is call your people up. There's people on your team right now that are not going. Okay? You can look in your back office. You can pull up who's got tickets. And the people that don't, call them up. And just say this, you know what, Josh? I would love to have you there. I'd love to have you hanging out with us, and I'd love you to be a part of that weekend. And just take the time to call them and invite them. They may still not come. You know, this last week I took my list and went through my people and started, okay, they don't have a ticket. I called them up. And some of them decided they were, you know what, the fact you called me and asked me, I didn't think anybody cared if I went. And so take the time to do that and just personally invite them. I want you there. I want you to be a part of this weekend. It's going to be life-changing, instead of just assuming they're not going. So I just want to throw that out. That's
perfect, brother. I appreciate that so much. We got Rebecca Leland from Saskatoon, Canada. Hey, Rebecca. She says, thanks for your knowledge. And Craig, can you talk about the new customers? Finding new ones, and if they're no's, just move on along and try to find the next one that might say yes. What do you do to maintain a healthy relationship with your existing customers? And second part is, with your success, how important do you see following up with these customers? And what do you do to show that you are still there for your customers? So as like an agent helping with the customers.
Yeah, well, I think what I'm seeing, like, it's amazing, because talking to Tracy Zimmer, I think most of her agents came from being customers. I mean, I think that's how she's recruited a lot of them to build a business, and she's become a superstar, right? And so I think and I asked her about that, and I'm going to talk about what she said. She just said that she made them feel important. Even though they didn't want to be an agent, they didn't get in the business, she treated them the same way and made them feel the same way. And so, it wasn't like, just a customer, now you're not an agent, I want agents. All of a sudden, whether it was calling them once a month, however she did, she had her list in her box, in her list that she went through with her customers, almost like she did with her agents that she was helping build. So I think the relationship with them and keeping that going, keeping that file box, if I called this customer on the first of the month, I'm going to call them next month. So if you have that file box, you put them in the first of, what's the next month? March. And so to call them. So I think it's staying in touch with them and keeping that relationship with them, because, Isaac always says we want to give them the greatest experience in the world. And I think, but to be really honest, Josh, Denne does so much of that. She's like amazing. So I feel like, for me to answer all the follow-up stuff, I don't really have that, because she's doing a lot of that. So I just want to give her some credit for all that stuff she does, plus a lot of other stuff.
Dana's amazing. Anyway,
she's awesome.
Yeah, but it's important to follow up with customers, guys. Look, I mean, the customer is the backbone of our business. It's the backbone. It's everything. It's why we build the distribution network. I mean, if we wouldn't build a distribution network if we couldn't get an actual customer. So, it's important to follow up with customers. It's important to make them feel good. You and I are the first line of defense for our core value number one, which is what? Providing a world-class customer experience, not service, experience. That's our job. That's what we want to do. And when you do that, you get people that are happy, that'll never leave you. They'll be excited about buying your product. They'll be excited about Secret. They'll proudly recommend it to their friends and family, even though they're not agents. And when you operate at that type of enthusiasm, excitement, and desire to truly serve, you'll find it pays just fortunes, staggering fortunes, when you treat your customers as number one. So I think that's a great question. I appreciate that, Rebecca. Let's see, awesome Vision Cast, brothers. Got a packed house here in the DMV. Can't wait for the movement. Bradshaw.
Yeah, Bradshaw. He sent me a text and told me to smile. What's up with that?
Here's a good question here. It says, hey, this is Jamie from Kinsito, and forgive me, Jamie, I don't mean to pronounce that city wrong, but it's Saskatchewan, Canada.
Yeah.
Hey, Jamie. How do you react to the toughest of critics of network marketing? You try to defend and make them see the light, or you just move on?
One of the things, when somebody is, whether it's negative or they're a critic, I get excited, because that tells me they don't know what I know. So I always see them as an opportunity. If somebody totally understands the business, and even if they're positive about it, but said, it's just not for me, but when I get someone critiquing the business and being negative about it, I know that's a good opportunity for me. And I just ask this question. I say, what you're saying isn't really true. So we have two choices. Which one would you like to do? One, I can educate you. So at least when you're talking about the business, you can understand what it is, how it works, or you can keep being ignorant. Because right now what you're saying isn't true. And so I will approach it if it's if it's somebody I care about, a friend or somebody that's affecting somebody on my team or something, because I'm like a mom with her cubs with my team. But for the most part, if the person's negative, and part of it is how they're asking the question. Because sometimes people ask you a question because they really want the answer. Or are they asking a question because they're just trying to cause a problem? So I'll ask them, I'll say, you want to know the answer to that, or are you asking me that question just for an intimidation factor? Oh no, I really want to know the answer. Great. So you just have to have a posture with them where you believe in what you do. Nobody can steal that away from you. But I just ask them, do you want to be educated on what it really is, or do you just want to continue to say the things you're saying which are untrue? And I'll do it to a certain point, but after that, I'm not talking anybody into anything. I'm not talking anybody into anything. I mean, if you sit across from someone who says it won't work, and they know you've made several $1 million in the industry, there's something not connecting here, right? There's just something not connecting. For someone to say that, knowing that kind of income, it might have worked for you, kind of thing. So anyway, if they're heavy critique, I'll challenge them enough. If they're open-minded enough to talk, great. Otherwise, I just forget about it and move on. It takes too much negative, and it depletes you too much. I don't know. What about you, Josh?
I agree with you 100%. I'll do the same thing, and yeah, it's more of a place of love. I'm not trying to like combat them, but I'm not going to let someone smash me either. I'm going to say, listen, it's okay if it's not for you. If it's not for you, that's fine. But I think you're unfounded in your facts. You don't have your facts right. But I'm not gonna challenge you on this stuff. Let me ask you, and I'll just ask them a question. Ask them about themselves. And again, if they're super negative, it's like, what? Professionals sort, amateurs convince. So if you find yourself in a convincing mode, that's amateur status. Sorting is, and you just take it away from them. Go, you know what? In a nice way, though. You say, look, this probably isn't for you. It's probably not for you at all. It's okay. It's not for everyone. But do you know anybody? Who do you know that's not negative? Who do you know that is positive? Who do you know that is looking for an opportunity? And let me talk to them.
Oh, I think that's great. Yeah.
Another question, and I'll answer this real quickly. It says, secret's also healthcare besides skincare. That's not true. We do offer a discount through the Direct Selling Association in the back office. You can go through there, but we are not a healthcare company. We are a skincare company. Okay. Hi, Craig. I'm an agent right now in Western New York. Do you think vending events like trade shows and whatnot are a good exposure? Do I do one-on-ones? Do you have any other suggestions on how I can get my name out there other than what I'm doing? Oh no, I do one-on-ones. So I'm sorry. This is Anne Marie from New York. She says she does one-on-ones. Do you have any other suggestions on how to get her name out there other than that? Business.
I think Facebook, LinkedIn is a good way to communicate, friending people and start connecting on that level with social media to whatever level you're confident with that. But I think, it still goes back to one of the things I find, Josh, and I don't know if this is true with you, but so many of the people that are asking me how I get my name out there still have a list of 100 names. And they always just say, I feel more comfortable talking to strangers than I do my own friends. So I just want to encourage you, if you're out there, and I found this out over the last couple of weeks and really doing some polling with my people, they've got a list of 100 names, and yet they're saying, how do I get my name out there? How do I meet more people? That's your warm market. Those are, until you go through that list of names, that needs to be your focus. I always set a goal to meet somebody new every day. When I got in the business originally, I had 150 names. I never had less, because I put one on my list every single day I came home. I had a new name on my list from a business card, so I did that. But on the vendor thing of the trade show, I personally, and I haven't seen anybody on my team do really well, and they've spent a lot of money on vending, on those like on the vendor events and that kind of stuff, and they just haven't done well. And I don't know why it is, but I think it's just so much more when it's personal, and you can sit down and you can find out a why. I mean, when someone walks up to your tent or your stand, it's hard to connect with people. So you become a salesman, and then they're thinking, if I get in this, I got to set up this kind of booth. So because they're going to do what you do. And when someone says, what do I need to do? You say, what did I do with you? Well, if that's how you met them, it's a little tougher to move from there. So, I mean, just, living alert to life every day, being out there, meeting the people you can, but work your list, because I know all of you have lists of names and you haven't touched some of those people yet. I'm sure of it.
Absolutely. Here's a question that goes right along with that, this is someone that's new in the business. They say, hey, I'm new to the business and I'm having a difficult time finding customers. Besides friends and colleagues, what other ways do you find customers? I feel discouraged and I'm thinking I got to go door to door. Any advice? And I think you did a lot of the advice. And here's my answer. And I'm curious to know yours, but my answer was always like, who's your best friend? I learned that from Art Williams. And through my own social network, I would get referrals. I'd ask people, hey, who's your best friend? Who can we go talk to? And I never went door to door ever. How about you, Craig?
No, I've never done door to door, and I think our spa parties are perfect for that. But one thing that Isaac said, and you've heard it 100 times, Josh, because I have too, is what did he say he did when he decided they were going to build their business in Houston? He called his friends up, and what did he say to them? I need your help. I mean, he had no problem, and he didn't say, I need your help. Will you purchase and try out my products? He said, will you get on a plane, leave everything you got, and come and live here and work with us? I mean, that's crazy. But, I think a lot of us just don't have enough. We feel like to call somebody up and say, I need a favor from you. I'm in this company. I've got these great products. I need you to buy some and try them. Would you do that for me? I mean, that's what Isaac said. I mean, I've heard him say it so many times. That's how they started their company. And these people flew across and said, you need my help? I'm coming. And you know what? I know some of you will say, well, I've tried that in my family member. Well, I don't know, but I think a lot of us just haven't really asked that. So when I hear this question, I think that's a good place to start is who is your 8 to 10 people that you're close to, you've been friends with for years, to just call and say, I need a favor from you. Can you purchase some of this product and use it and tell me what you think of it? Because I really think you're going to love it. I really need you to do me that as a favor. I mean, that's what Isaac says, and I think it worked for him, obviously, with his company. So, and we're not asking anybody to do anything except purchase a few products. So I think that's a way to go, a possibility.
Absolutely. Okay, next question. With the convention, if I go to this, what can I expect as far as education and ability to learn? What can I expect? Ability to learn from other leaders that have been successful. That's
what can I expect to learn?
What can I expect to learn? Yeah.
Well, I think everybody's going to share. One of the things that's awesome about our business, we have a system, right? And we have and that we believe in S4S, one-on-ones. But I promise you, if Josh Denne's on stage sharing goal setting, it's going to be different than me being on stage sharing goal setting. So what you're going to get is some training, but you're going to get it from a leader who's it's personalized to their life and their story and their success. So you're going to hear, I've always said this, you're going to hear one person teach and you're going to go, that was good. And then you're going to hear another person go, man, that was unbelievable. And it wasn't that it was that much better. It's just that's what you needed to hear. And so I always say when you come to those events, it's like going shopping, you don't buy everything in the store. You take this and you take that. But I believe that the basics of what you need to hear, because the minds that come together to put this event on, are they're constantly in the trenches. They're constantly in the field. I think they're going to give you what you need to hear because they know what you need to hear. Because not only because they've done it, but because their ear is to the field. That's the thing I've learned about you, Josh. Nobody can challenge you about, well, you're sitting at the top of this company. Your ear is in the field constantly. What are they saying? What do they need? What are the things? So when a brand new person says, what am I going to get there? They're going to get what they need because you know what they need because of what you've done, and two, your ears in the field. And I think that's why they can trust that what's going to be taught is not going to be a waste of your time, ever.
Yeah, well done, Craig. Thank you, brother. Another question. Hi, Craig. This is Grace from Maui, Hawaii. Woo. And my question is, what do you tell someone that wants to start as a customer first because they want to try the products first, or at least for a month to see the difference before they think of joining?
Yeah, I think that sounds great. I mean, if they want to try the products and purchase them, then that's a perfect person to invite to a spa party, right? I mean, that's a perfect person to do a one-on-one with. And you can sit down and say, okay, I'm not here to sign you up as an agent, but I'm going to put these products on you and let you try them. So when somebody asks you that, gosh, that's a perfect chance to set up, either bring them to a spa party, or say, how about if we do a spa party at your place, invite a few girlfriends, and you can all try this stuff, and that'll help me, help me help you by putting it in front of your friends. So that's a perfect invitation to get the product in front of her as quickly as possible. And I think that's great. Now, I think once people touch the product, then they want to realize that they know people that'll want it. They want to become an agent. So just get it in front of her. That's an awesome invitation.
Excellent.
There's people who call me up every day and ask me that.
Hey, Brad M, my buddy. Brad M's California. Let's see. If you've already bought the ticket and booked the hotel, but your spouse says you can't go to the convention because you have outstanding debt, what would you do in this case?
Whoa, that's loaded, huh?
Yeah.
I'd say, hey, babe, because I have outstanding debt, I have to go. I don't have any choice. I'm doing it for you. I'm doing it for the family. I don't have a choice. I'm going. I mean, that's a reason to go. You see what I'm saying? So the very reason to be used to not go is the very reason to go. But, you know, I know it's tense because I know when you have, but you know, how many of us went to events when we had debt to pay the debt off? You know, I was $250,000 in debt. I couldn't afford to go to Portland, but I went and paid it off in the next 2 years. So that's the process you have to think of, the half full glass instead of half empty. But I know it's tough when your spouse kind of gives you that ultimatum. It's not good.
You know, I would say, guys, exactly what you said, Craig. You know, that was my thing when I first got started in this profession. For me, that was the reason I was doing this, and so I wasn't going to be in debt anymore. So I was going to have these kind of situations in my life. I didn't. Being in debt wasn't okay to me. So for me, it was a way out for the family. And so, look, I guess that's important. Now, if you're a leader and someone's telling you that, you know, do the best you can to talk to the spouse. Try to get them both together and ask them questions and be sincere. I think the biggest thing is sometimes the reason we want them to go to the convention is very different than the reason they need to go to the convention. You know, sometimes we don't know it, and if we don't know, it's very hard to lead somebody. You know, again, Craig, you said it throughout your entire talk here today. It's about them. It's about what's important to them. And when you can really sit down with them, sincerely help them see why going to the convention will help them get what they said they want in life, they're going to go. They'll find a way. You know, all of us are the same. You know, I've traveled the world over the last few years, and I'm grateful for that opportunity. But what it's done is opened my eyes. It's opened my eyes to the fact that everyone's the same around the world. Everyone wants to be able to take care of the family. Everyone wants more time with them. Everyone wants to give back and do something great with their life. There's not one person on this planet that says, you know, I just want to suck. You know, excuse my language. I just want to do nothing. You know, I'd just rather sit in a corner. You know, there's no one saying that. No one says I don't want to give anything to my family. And if they are, I don't want to meet that person. You know, but I'm telling you, people want good things in their life. And if you can sit down and just find out what they want, instead of trying to think I need to recruit this person into my business so I make money, you know, they need to go to the convention so I look good, so I have people there. Hey, you're doing it the wrong way. And I'm not saying that anyone on this webinar is, but what I'm saying is very simply that, you know, in that situation, that scenario, you got to go talk to the spouse, put them both together, find out what their goals are, their dreams are, where you going in life, what do you want? And then say, look, by going to this convention, what if I was to tell you by going to this convention you can get those things? Look, I can't promise you anything because I don't know. I don't know what you're going to do. All I know is there's a chance. And if there's a chance, wouldn't you just climb over coals for your family? Wouldn't you climb over hot coals? I'd do anything for my family. Wouldn't you? It's kind of hard to say no to that stuff. So anyway, I guess it's all about your conviction, right?
Well, I think also, Josh, let me add one thing. Who knows with this particular person who's asking this, who knows what he's done the last 90 days or the last 6 months, right? So maybe he's done very little in the business, right? Maybe he's done very little and hasn't really, done any, hasn't built the business, hasn't done anything, and now his wife sees him spending money to go to an event when there's nothing. So what I would do is, if I was him, I would sit down with my wife and say, and look her in the eye and make a commitment to her. I'm talking about a real commitment. Babe, I'm going to come back from convention and I will make the money back I spent at convention the first 30 days. I promise you that. Okay? And then live up to it and be accountable to it. Because who knows what's gone on, and all of a sudden he sees her spending money and maybe he hasn't done anything for the last 30, 60 days. Okay? But that's another reason why you need to get at the event. But make a commitment to her. Say, I'm making a promise to you. And then live up to that promise.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Craig. That's great. That was a great question, by the way. Thanks for asking it. Let's see. Paul Caldwell, hey, buddy. He says, can someone purchase 2 bundles in the same order? Husband wants one bundle and the wife wants another bundle. Can they both be purchased? I believe the answer is yes, isn't it, Craig?
Denne, can you do that? Can a husband and wife each buy a bundle?
I'm pretty sure you can. I remember hearing, yes, a wife, husband, you know, everyone can bundle. Everyone in the family can bundle. So it's only one bonus buy when you bundle and save on a customer. I know that.
One bonus. Okay, that makes sense.
But I'm pretty sure everyone can bundle. Anyway, Paul, I'd ask customer service on that one. You know, Craig and I go to show you don't need to know that many facts to make money.
I love you all answer those. You look at me like, oh, I go, oh no.
I don't mean to throw you up there. Okay, my question for the webinar is this. How do you teach a new distributors the value of edification? What steps do you take to get into a new distributor's warm market? Great question.
Really good question. As far as edification, it's, you know, you have to, it's kind of like an earn thing. Like if I just sponsored Josh in the business and I just met him, for me to start telling him, you got to talk great about me, right? Or, you know, edification. But when you talk about a three-way call, the importance of it there is I can help you sponsor them by introducing me in a positive way. And so it's important for us to teach, especially in three-way calls with a brand new agent, because they don't know what to say. So I always sit down with them and I say, okay, here's what you need to say when you introduce me. Okay, even if I'm going to do a one-on-one with them, right? There's three of us together. Here's what you need to say to introduce me, right? And so once you do that, you're giving this person's credibility. You're endorsing him, so this person will listen to him. And so, you know, as far as I think it's us to teach them what that is, it's hard to just say you got to think I'm great, you got to edify me and all that kind of stuff. But when you tell them, let me tell you what's important in three-way calls. Let me tell you what's important when we do one-on-ones together, when we sit down. Let me tell you what's important if I come to your spa party, right? You know, you stand at the beginning, I'd like to introduce Josh, he's here. Let me tell you a little bit about him. Okay, so, but we got to teach them that. And then tell them, you need to teach your people that. It's not because we're so great. It's just going to give us authority to their people. And the other part is it affirms that you're there because they invited you there. And you didn't force them to be there. You know, and so if it's a one-on-one and I talk about Josh and then he knows Josh is here because I want him to be here and he's successful, not because he forced me to do it. And so you speak good things about him. So the edification thing is vital to the business. Now, as far as edification upline, that's going to come from the influential leadership and the kind of leader that you become. But it's a very important part of the business, and it's almost strange because you don't hear that term in very many other businesses. You know, you don't go into work at any company, I don't Google or whatever. You don't say, well, you need to edify your boss or edify your upline. Okay, ours is one of the only businesses where that you even hear that terminology. But it works, and it's very, very important. Very important.
100%. I would agree with that, and I'd say, guys, you know, if you want to really teach edification, you got to do it. You know, it depends. If you're edifying your leadership, you're edifying the people around you, it's going to be picked up, and you may want to explain why you're doing those things once you got an agent really in the business. But Craig, the other question was, you know, what steps do you take to get into a distributor's market? I mean, you're a master at this, going through networks and. You know, it's funny that the terminology network marketing is just that, right? Marketing through someone's network. So what are some of the steps you take?
Well, I think one of the first things, especially if I sponsor if I'm working with a new agent, is I'm gonna be on the call with them making their list, right? You know, and I think we have that on our blueprint, but I'm gonna be on the call making that list. I just started a new agent in Chicago, and I was on the phone with her this week. And so what we did was we worked on her getting her list of 25 names, and then we took the top 5 names. Okay, I said, who are the top 5 on this list? I said, I'm going to talk to those people. And she scheduled both her spa parties when she needed to. But I took that list. Now she's increased it to 100. But I told her, these 25 people, okay, they're yours and mine together. Because I know when she wrote those names down, those are the best prospects she has. That's why she shared it. You know, sometimes you'll always find the first 25 names on a list are they're the 10s, right? But once they start sharing the business, then they go down to the 4s and the 3s and the 2s because it's less threatening to them. So I want that list of the first 25. So now we're spending this week getting a hold of those 5 people, getting the business in front of them, and then what I'll do is duplicate the exact same thing. But I want that top 25, and my goal is to get some of them to a spa party, but to really start working her list as fast as I can. 3-way calls. I sent a text to her tonight. She's already talked to 2 of the people. So I'm going to be on the phone this week with all 5 of those. And then if one of them gets in, I'll do the exact same thing because I want the list. But the important part is, and this is the other part, that's your list too, right? Because this is your business. You know, anybody from you down is your organization. So it's like somebody has, if you're making the mistake, and I could go all night on this, and this is a seminar, but if you're making the mistake of holding on to your list and not letting your upline see it, or not putting it in front of your upline, can you hear me? Are you losing me, Josh? Okay. Yeah, if you don't give that list or share it with your upline, you're crazy. Some people say, well, this is my list. No way. Get that thing to them. Tell them who your 5 top people are and get the business in front of those people as fast as you can. So that list is to be shared because that becomes your list too because you're working your team.
No, absolutely. No, okay. I got you. That was right on the money. This is what Curry Diaz Rio said. She says, how do you approach people who are extremely loyal to their other company, whatever company they're a part of? In this case, it's a network marketing business, or they're in some other home business. And even though they're not really getting good results with that company, and they can't even allow you to show them our products and explain the compensation plan. Mm-hmm. What do you do in that situation?
Well, I think, again, there's closed-minded people, there's open-minded people. I mean, if you have someone that's in another company and they don't want to talk to you, well, then there's nothing you can do. Just stay out of it. But what I do is like, if I'm you, Curry, what I'm going to do is I'm going to call up the guy in the other company, especially if he's been in 3 or 4 years, and I'm going to ask him, can you do me a favor? Can I sit down with you and talk to you? Because I've got some questions for you, right? And I'm not here to recruit you in my business, but you've been in a lot longer than me, and I'd like to pick your brain a little bit about success and some of the things that you think are important in this business. So if you humble yourself and go to them as if you want information for you to be able to grow, then at least that's going to open the door for most. Because most people, if you say, hey, you're successful, I want to learn from you. People have big egos. They go, oh, yeah, okay, you can learn from me. So at least it opens the door to start talking instead of approaching it from a recruiting perspective, saying, hey, you know what? Can I get together? Because I want to pick your brain. I want to say, how do you sponsor people? What did you do in the beginning? And then sit down with them and ask them questions. Just ask them about their business. And what you might get into is find out a little bit about stuff they do not like. But only by asking them, hey, can you help me know more about how did you make your list? How did you prospect? How did you meet cold contact? And just kind of pick their brain and buy them a cup of coffee and spend an hour with them. I think that'll at least break the ice and start moving, get it in a different mindset.
Absolutely. I think that's brilliant for sure. If you're building the relationship there, again, some people just are where they're at mentally, and that's just what it's going to be. So just build a friendship. That's the best you can do. Let's see here. Josh and Craig, what package did you buy when you first signed up with Secret, and was there a point where you met someone who could not afford to buy a package? If so, what did you do for them to get them started?
Someone who can't afford to buy a package?
Yeah, they said, well, what number one? First question, what package did we get started out at? And I'll explain that.
Yeah, they didn't have the 1700, so we were 1450 or whatever. Yeah, the secret agent. For sure.
Yeah, I didn't have a package because I just was flat broke. So I had to borrow the $49, and I used my buddy Tim Hurst, my sponsor's product. But eventually, I went to work and I showed the products, and I eventually bought myself one of those 1450 packages myself, which I think at the time was $2,000. But I wanted to have the product. So even though I couldn't do it in the beginning, I could do it later. And Craig, I knew you had the opportunity, you had the ability to do it in the beginning. But when you come across someone who doesn't have the money, what do you do?
Well, I've had people that we created a plan and they saved the money. I've had people that I think that someone has to make an effort. Like I've never signed up a $49 person and put them in the binary just for $49 because what I've seen for at least my experience has been they say they're going to come up with the money and they never do, and then they sit there at a spot and they're just dead. So the people that I've seen save the money, whether it's a $550, and I always encourage them to at least get $550. The ones who've taken the time and saved the money, but we set a goal when to do that. When are you going to have that by? Well, I'll have it by this date. Okay, in the meantime, why don't we do a spa party? Let's invite some people over. We'll see if you have some people that are interested in it. If they are, we might be able to get enough product sold that night. We can sign you up, and we'll let you have the product, and you can get your kit. So I'm still moving to the next step. Let's just go ahead, or let's just put this in front of some people let's just talk to some people in the meantime and see what they think about it. Because the thing I have found out is every time someone has somebody who gets excited about it, if I get access to their names and they get excited about it, they find a way to get the money. because they don't want to miss out. So I just take it right. Oh, is that your own? I'd say if that's your only problem, don't worry about it. Here's what we're going to do. And you just move to that next step. Let's do a spa party, invite some people over, or let's put this in front of 3 or 4 people you know and see who can get interested in the business. So I just, anytime somebody has an excuse, I don't have time, my answer is that your only problem? Okay, don't worry. We've got the perfect program for that. I don't have enough money. Is that your only problem? Don't worry about it. We got the perfect program for that. And you just go to the next step. What's the next step? Their list, their people, spa party, get the business in front of people.
Brilliant. I love that. Hey, I love that. Is that your only problem? Okay. Yeah. I mean, if you solve that problem, you'll go. Yeah, I'll go, and then you can work on solving it. That's great.
Absolutely.
Okay. Next question. Oh, by the way, for me, I'm just saying as far as the distributor, I'm looking for their engagement. I want them to get in. Look, for me, I'm really looking for their list. Are they willing to actually do the deal? So if they're broke like I was in the very beginning, are they willing to work? Because Craig's right. Most of the time they could find the way, but they just won't. So I'm just going to step through them and find if their network. Okay, so you don't have the money, but if you find a way to make it happen, you would. Yes, all right, great. Make a list, and I just start with them immediately. Okay, and if they start giving me hesitation from there, it's like, all right, later. I come back to me when you're serious, kind of thing. Is the convention inside the Westgate building? I believe so. It is at the Westgate Conference Center there. Let's see. Naomi from Connecticut. She's excited. This is my first convention. What else should I bring besides pen and paper, Craig?
Oh my gosh, the tape recorders, something to record the entire event, or your phone, so that you can, record. And then the other thing for a brand new guy, and this is one of the things I shared last time I was on, is when you're at the event, talk to people. If you're a brand new person, talk to people. And you don't have to only talk to 7-figure earners. You don't. That's great to get around the 6-figure, 7-figure. But you know what? There's some people there that you just spend time with, because you're going to, people ask sometimes about stories, right? I'm brand new. I don't really have stories to tell when I'm sharing the business. You ask 8 or 10 people about their story at that weekend, whoever this gentleman, or Naomi, was it Naomi from Connecticut that said that? Yeah, okay, Naomi, what you do that weekend is you get yourself 8 to 10 good stories you take home with you, especially being brand new, because you're going to have people that are, new silvers and what they went through to get there. And the challenges. So make sure you're working that weekend, and the working is, being out and talking to people and getting their stories, and that's going to load up your arsenal. So going back home and saying, man, I met this guy, because somebody says, well, I don't have this. Well, let me tell you about this guy I met. Well, he's a single mom. Let me tell you about this single mom I met, right? And in fact, I can put you on the phone with her. She's amazing, right? So make sure when you're there that you don't just go in and you're leaving and you're going back to your room and going to bed. Start, get around people and find out what their life's about and who they are. I think that's going to be a big part of your growth that weekend, a big part of what you're going to love and enjoy.
Absolutely. The only other thing I would bring is some food.
Yeah.
Okay. Pack some granola bars, some fruits, and put a bunch of stuff in a backpack or a bag. Make some sandwiches so that way you keep the brain nourished. Bring some bottles of water. I do that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah. 3 bars.
Let's see here. I'm reading all these incredible comments. I really appreciate you guys. That's amazing. You guys are great. Let's see. Okay. So many good stuff. All right. Order bundles on separate days, or you pay more for the 4th, 5th, and 6th items. Look, guys, on bundles, I don't know the answer to this question. Now, again, that's customer service stuff. I would ask them. Unfortunately, I know that's dumb. I should know probably, but it's a newer program, and it's, again, in making money, Craig would probably say the same thing. For me, I don't get caught up on a lot of that stuff, and it is important. I'm not saying it's not important at all, but the main thing for me is, a vision of where we're going and what we're doing, and having people enjoy the product. As far as all the little minutia stuff, which is details, I'm not a detail-oriented person. I'm just not. If you are, that's great. Definitely, that's important. My brain just doesn't work that way. But we have a customer service department that they love it. They're paid, to answer your questions. They actually work for you, which is great, and they'll go through all that stuff for you. So anyway, I hope that's helpful. I would call them tomorrow morning. Let's see here. My question, and this is Grace again. Okay, this is Grace again from Maui, Hawaii. Says, my question is, what do you tell someone that's experienced in they've experienced network marketing, but they haven't had success? You know, and they're saying they're maybe having an objection about, oh, well, I've done that before, it didn't work for me. What would you say, Craig? And that's
Well, I first would ask questions. What didn't work for you? Tell me a little bit about your experience, because I don't know what to say to her until I find out what the experience was, or the challenge was, or what the downside was. And so I think that anytime somebody asks you or tells you that they've had this bad experience, it's important for you to find out what that's about. And ask and connect with them, and it's going to show that you care really too. Because, bad experiences a lot of times are with people, like their upline. They had a bad experience with their upline or whatever. So was it the company that they had a bad experience with? Was it their sponsor they had a bad experience with? And then I go to the original dream and I'll say, why did you get in originally? What was it about? What were you looking for in your life when you entered that company? Because that's when they go back to the dream. Well, I wanted to get financial freedom. Well, has that desire changed? No. Are you back to doing what you were doing before you got in? Yeah, I am. Well, maybe we need to talk about that, right? So I think taking them back to, again, why'd you originally get in? Because I asked a lot of people that I talk to that have had bad experiences, and you know what? It's like Eric Worre always says, no, anybody who says they're never getting back in is lying. And so I just want to know what your bad experience was. Has your desire to change your life, has that changed? If it hasn't, then maybe we could work together in a different way. That's kind of what I would be doing.
That's brilliant. And as sometimes, I think it's an analogy, Craig. Sometimes it's always worked. I say, look, have you ever had a relationship that didn't work? And most people have had that experience. I say, well, you didn't give up, did you? I see that you're married now, so obviously, you kept going on. So it was just the wrong person. So, and that's a great way. Craig, everything you said is perfect. So that's what I do. Great advice. Let's see here. Lisa Crothers Edmonton from AB Canada. Craig, Josh, I've found that the males I speak to have a stigma that the products are more for women and won't come to a show or a one-on-one. How did you reach out to fight that stereotype from a male perspective?
Well, I think I've always approached it from being, you're not going to be a quote skincare salesman or saleswoman. You're going to be the owner of a skincare company. And I think it's that the stigma comes from him imagining doing vending, the weekend events, out there knocking on doors, out there even doing spa parties for a man. They're thinking, I ain't got to do a spa party, right? And so they're thinking the smaller part of how do I sell skincare when I've never used skincare. And you know what? It goes back again to the whole idea of you're going to own the company. When I used to work with Beachbody, people would say to me, well, I'm not going to work out. I don't work out, so why would I get in this company? When I would talk to them. And one of the things I said, it doesn't matter what your body looks like or what you physically look like, would you like to own every 24-hour fitness that's out there? Yes, I would. Okay, you're a business owner, right? And for men, that seems to hit home. Okay, now I get it. Or like Josh, or McPherson's line about, Victoria's Secrets. Have you ever shopped at Victoria's Secret for yourself? No. Would you like to own one? Absolutely. So understanding the difference between being a skincare person and owning a skincare company. And I think if they're open-minded enough to understand the business side of it, because and not all men, but most men want to know, how do I make money? That's what they're interested in. If I can sell these products and make money, I want to do it, but how am I going to do it? And so it's just, and again, it's everybody's different. But I think, I hear that a lot from men. Skincare just doesn't fire me up. Well, it didn't fire me up either. I know you said it didn't fire you up, Josh.
Exactly. It didn't fire me up. I'm still not fired up about skincare. I use it. I do. I've never used it like I do now. So I like it. But the business side of things, here's what I know as a business person is people like to buy things. Everyone has skin. More and more people every day are realizing that taking care of their skin is an important thing. So as a business person, if you can position yourself in front of a trend, that makes a lot more sense than positioning it after everyone's already figured it out, doesn't it? So, Craig, you're right. I mean, you just appeal to their business sense and say, look, as a woman coming at it, it'd be good to, play up to men's egos. A lot of men are kind of arrogant, as you probably already know, and just go, well, you know what? I don't really know. All I know is there's a lot of guys really doing well. They're making money. I'm sure you could probably do real well, I guess. I don't know if you could, but I would think so. Well, yeah, I could do well. Well, I don't know. Why don't you talk to some of these guys that are doing well and get out of the way and introduce them to some of the people that are doing well. Let them hear from other men, and I think that'll help with perspective.
Another thing that I've heard Isaac say this 2 or 3 times. He never used his skincare until he met Dr. Ho. He said, I never did a regimen. I never used much of my skincare until I met Dr. Ho, who explained to me exactly how to use it, what I needed to do, why I needed to do it. And so think about that. By the time he met Ho, they probably were doing 600 million in volume. So here's the CEO, the owner of Secret, who says, I didn't use our skincare that much because until I learned the regimen and why it works so well and all that kind of. So here's the guy who owns the business, the CEO, yet he's not on a daily regimen of skincare. Well, that says that Isaac wasn't in it just for the skin care. He was in it as a CEO of a business and owned a business. So I thought that was pretty profound when he said that. And once Ho explained it, he realized, God, we got an incredible product here. I'm going to get on a regimen. I'm going to do the things that I need to do to save my skin. But, that was kind of interesting to me. So that shows that, Isaac, I don't think too many people would say, oh, you're in skincare and point their finger at him and laugh. No, probably not. Probably.
No. Yes, the convention is in the same building as the hotel inside the Westgate. I love all the question marks. Gotcha. It's there. And again, you can go in your back office and all the information that you want to know about the convention is right there. I mean, there's the agenda, the hotel convention information is right there to help you kind of know exactly what's happening. Let's see. What's your top location to go to and work on a cold market? Not exactly certain the answer to the question. What's your top location to go to?
I think he's talking about like going to a mall, go to a whatever. I think he's thinking about what's a good location to go to a baseball game, hang out or whatever. I've done that, but I've always also lived alert to life. I think if we wake up in the morning, we go on and we go about our day and we stop by the cleaners and we go to the salon or wherever it is your day takes you, you prospect as you go, you don't go to prospect. And I think if you learn that and that becomes a part of your daily routine, you go to the bank, you talk to the teller. It's much more natural, if you get used to doing it, it's much more natural to prospect as you go and not go to prospect. So I haven't seen a lot of great, you can go and meet 10 people at a mall, and I've done that, right? But I think more is it's just living alert to life, especially you go to a job every day, you stop at a gas station, you go to the bank, you pick up your cleaning. Those are all places that you can make contacts and really just or waitress at lunch, or waitress if you go out to dinner. Those are all, so you prospect as you go and you live alert to life.
Absolutely. Here's another question here from Brad M. Would you tell people on the team who are not comfortable doing one-on-ones to go out and find people who are good at it and love doing it and who are better than them while they get better at it? I guess in other words, recruiting your weakness. I think that's what you're saying, Brad.
So he's saying if I'm not good at doing a one-on-one and I recruit you and you are, I'm going to go learn from you. Is that what he's saying? I'm trying to understand.
No. Who are not comfortable so if someone's not comfortable doing one-on-ones, you go out and find people who are good at it and love doing it and who are better than them, and while they get better at it. And look, guys, you don't have to sit there and do one-on-ones. Just to be clear, that's why we have a system here. It's like the idea is to go out there and get information to people, get them to, get them introduced to someone else. We're a process. 2 a day. Do 2 demos a day, get out of the way. 2 demos a day and get out of the way. Go, I don't really know. All I know is I'm working with some great people and have them pass it on. And, we got a wild party scheduled this Wednesday. Why don't you come see for yourself? I don't really know. All I know is, this company is going through a lot of growth, and you can learn about it there, or you can learn about it from him, or you can learn about it from her. That's kind of my methodology on a consistent basis.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway.
I like that.
Let's see. What about if I don't get any customers? Well, here's the thing. You can build a distribution network to get customers, but look, there's nothing happens without a customer. The idea is if you don't really believe in the products and you don't believe that they're valuable to the market, it's going to be hard for you to build a business. Craig, I don't have an answer for that because I believe in these products. I believe that they have value for the dollar. No matter what market you're in, no matter what country you live in, the products are more valuable than the exchange of money for the consumer. So for me, that's just good business, and I believe in that. Now, I'm getting to recruit everybody.
You don't have a business. You don't have a business. If you don't have a customer, you don't have a business, right? That's like opening a McDonald's and saying, well, I don't think I'm going to sell any hamburgers to anybody, but we got a nice facility here, right? So, it's like that's part of the process. But if you're putting product on people, even if your focus is recruiting, when you're putting product on people, you're going to have people that say, God, I love this product, but I don't want to be an agent. You got a customer now. You know, do you spend all your time looking for customers? No. You find out people that are looking for product and looking for opportunity. So, you know, it's going to come. If you're actively building the business, nobody who's actively building the business is not going to have a customer. Okay, period. It's just impossible, because if you're showing the business to people, you can't say, no, don't buy my products. They're going to want to buy them. So like you said, Josh, they're so good. It's the easiest thing in the world if you put products on people for them to want to buy them. That's the easiest part.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, like, just go show people the deal, and they're going to figure out how they want to participate. Whether they want to be a customer, or they want to be an agent. Let it up to them. You know, that's all our job is to do. It's just to lead the horse to water. I mean, it can drink or not drink, whatever it wants to do. So anyway, let's see here. If a new agent tried to introduce Secret to their first client, and the client, they said they ever try a new skincare product, and it would be this company's skincare product, you know, whatever. How would you recommend an agent to, you know, I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't understand that question. Can you rephrase that? Tracy Covington here. Brothers, Josh and Craig, thank you for delivering this content. How often will you keep following up the prospect who's sitting on the fence? Are you ever concerned with being pushy or giving our company a bad name? Great question, Tracy.
Yeah, I don't ever get a no. I mean, no's are just not right nows. So I always let him off the hook at the last minute. You know, if I'm talking to Josh and I can tell he's retreating, he's going back. I say, you know what, Josh, what I see the problem is right now is this. I kind of sense that the timing just isn't right in your life right now. Am I right about that? And you go, yeah, that's true. I say, well, how about if I stay in touch with you? And I'd like to get you some information, maybe send it to you every once in a while. And then in the meantime, I'd like you to try some of these products. And then, you know, we've got some events coming up. I'll even send you some info, and if you can make one of them, that'd be great. But I'll check back with you in a couple of weeks. And you know, they're so relieved that you're done with it, right? So now, but you've always got the door open, right? Because if I send Josh a couple videos, now I got a reason in a couple of weeks to say, Josh, did you get a chance to watch those videos? So never get a no. You're not going to get a no. You're going to get a not right now. And I'm okay with that. But also, if you've got someone who says, look, I want to get started, and they just don't get started, and they keep telling you they're going to get started, then you have to get them off the fence. You know, you just have to go to them and say, look, I'm going to start 3 or 4 people this week. That's going to fill up my time. Are you ready to get started now or no? I just need a yes or no. I think it was Tim Hurst said, I don't like maybes or I might do it. No, yes or no. Give me a yes or no. But when it's a person that I feel is just feeling like a little bit overwhelmed, then I'll back off, say, here's what I think the problem is. That's exactly the problem. Let me have a little bit of time. Great, I'm going to send you some information, and then you just keep them in the hopper, right? And those people come back. I mean, I tell the story. When I got in Amway, my first 2 months, I showed it to my 18 best friends, and 16 of them said no, right? And within 2 years, every one of them were in my business, and I just kept them in the loop. So you don't have to worry about just not right nows. They're just not right nows, and you let them off the hook.
Brilliant. I mean, again, if you keep the philosophy of friends first, and right. You're just like, it's okay if I keep you informed. You know, most people are going to say yes, and just keep them informed, and they're going to want to participate with you on some level. You know, so great advice, Craig. Thank you. All right, here's another question, and I know we're going to be running out of time here soon, Craig. I really appreciate you taking all this time for everybody. It's amazing. I'm brand new to the business. I joined on complete and blind faith, and I've never used the products, I've never used products or taken good care of my skin in the past. I'm having a hard time busting out of the gates and raving about the products because my own skin doesn't look that great yet. My own blemishes, fine lines, they're still visible, and I don't feel confident yet with people looking at me closely and trying to measure the results based on my skin. What's the best advice for getting past this, besides more time and continued use of the products to attain better results?
Total honesty. Saying, look, I just got started in this business. I'm not a skincare guy. I'm just going to be honest with you. Never have been in my past, never done skincare or anything. So I'm getting started in these regimens, and I know the kind of change I'm going to see because I'm excited about it and stuff. But you know what? I'm just now getting going, and I'm excited about the opportunity. I'm excited about the business. I'd love you to try some of the products. But be honest. I mean, you can't look at someone and all of a sudden and expect you get in the business and all of a sudden you expect your skin to look amazing in the first week or 2 or 3. Don't wait till your skin looks great. Go out and tell them, hey, I'm just getting started in this. I can't wait to see the results I'm going to get from this product. And just be honest with people. Because when you're looking for lookers, I always say you can't show the wrong plan to the right person, and you can't show the right plan to the wrong person. Because if they're the right person, you could screw it up. do the worst job ever, and they're still going to get in. And there's other people, if they're the wrong person, you could do the best presentation of your life. Your skin could be flawless like Cindy Denny's. You could be completely flawless, and it doesn't matter. They're not getting in. So you don't worry about it, right? You just, you can't show the wrong plan to the right people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. And there's complete honesty and transparency. And if it's a woman asking a question, just saying, hey, look, this is why I'm doing this. And, man, I've seen some great results from people. I'm sold out. I'm excited, and move into that. That was great, Craig. Brilliant. Brilliant. Thank you. Next question here is I'm new to the business too, but I lost my support, and they're not helping me grow the business. Do I look upline for someone who can assist me in growth? What can I do?
I would look upline. There's always somebody up there that wants to help you, right? If you want the business, but expect accountability. There's expectations. I mean, Josh and I, a lot of us that have bigger businesses, we get calls all the time, or other people on other lines. Hey, if I could get you to help me, it'd be great, right? But I've always learned there's always somebody above you that wants you to succeed in the business. And if it's not your sponsor, and you know what, a lot of you people, your sponsor might quit. Okay, they might not be in the business anymore, but just get on your knees every day and thank God they've got you in this business. And then go find someone upline who is willing to help you. But define help. Anytime somebody says, I really want help, I always go, let's define what that is. What are your expectations? What are my expectations? Because when someone says, help me, you might be thinking something entirely different. Okay, and then if I say to Josh, I need your help, and Josh says, what does that mean? What do you need from me? What does that look like? Then I can be honest with him, because he might say, I can't do that. Right? I might say to Josh, I want you to be on a call every day with me. I can't do that. But ask the person. So call your upline, or work upline, find out somebody who's above you that is willing to help you. And then just tell them, hey, I need help, but define what it is. Tell them what you need from them. Don't just say, I need help. It's too generic. It's too out there, and we don't know what you mean.
So I was trying to get the mute off. Okay, here's another great question here, and by that was, thank you, Craig. That was an awesome answer. It says, let's see. There we go. Oh, wait, no, here.
I like all these brand new people.
I have some agents say, hey, I can't make the movement convention next month, but I'll be at the next one. Why is it important to be here for the movement? And what can you say to someone that says that they to go get their ticket? And what can you say to someone that says, basically, hey, go get the ticket and go, or why there won't be a next convention for them? That's basically.
I know. Yeah, okay, I know. Like Tim the other night, Tim said, if you don't go to this one, there may not be a next one for you. I just think, I've always said the convention, the major events take 6 months off making six figures, at least 6 months off. So if you figure that out, and you figure, if I'm 6 months less making six figures, how much money is it going to cost me every single month if I don't go to this event? That's if you're a business person. Right? If you're thinking of it as a business, there's no question in my mind, you're 6 months longer to six figures if you miss an event. And so what does that cost you? Thousands of dollars? How many thousands of dollars? So an investment of $200 or a $400 with a plane flight, share a room with 5 people, put as many people in a room as you can, cost $10 each or whatever, to be able to do it, to be there, because the next one isn't the one you need. It's the one you're at now. If you're in the business now, this is the one you need. This is the one you need to be at, right? And I hope you come up to me and Josh. If you're on this thing tonight, I hope you come up to me and Josh at that thing and say, you guys kind of pissed me off that night, and you were pressing that, and I wasn't going to go, but I came, and thank God I did, right? Because I promise you that's going to be your result. That's what you're going to hear. And now, because I've said that, we're going to hear a lot of you come and say that, I know, because you're going to show up.
For sure. I used to always tell people, hey, listen, if you come and you show up, and after you sit through everything, really you're sitting there, you take notes, and at the end of the 3 days, you can come up to me with a straight face and mean it with your heart that it wasn't worth it for you. It's like, hey, this is a waste of time. Really, I didn't learn anything. I don't feel anything. And I'll reimburse you 100% for everything that you did. I've made that bet with so many people, and there's not one person in all my years being around this profession, which is near 20 here in June, that anyone's ever done that.
Money back guarantee. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. As long as someone's there, you can't just go to Vegas and class and not show up and then
come back and collect your money and go let it roll on a crap machine.
That's not going to work out. Okay, let's see. We're almost done here, guys. Are they providing food at the convention? Yeah, there's food there. It's not included in the ticket.
There's not real included with the
There will be food there for sure. How do you have a spa party with no product to show? Well, you don't. I don't know how to answer that one.
A little bit of cucumber water and fellowship.
I'm sorry, I didn't make fun of that question. That's a legitimate question, right? I mean, just don't get product. Okay, Craig said he just signed some up in Chicago. I'm in Chicago, and I have support team in San Diego. How would I would love to have someone else here to be able to converse with. Craig, can we get hooked up? This is Lynn from Chicago.
Yeah, hook me up on, go to my message on Facebook, and I'll hook you up with, I got a new personally sponsored agent there, and I got a gal named Val who's been in the business for a while. She's awesome. So, and I don't know whereabouts in Chicago. I got a big team in Decatur. I've got a platinum in Decatur named Danielle Taylor. So, yeah, there's a good stuff going on in Chicago right now. So just message me on Facebook.
All right, let's see here. Thank you guys for all the kind comments. I'm just trying to sort through them all real quick. Question for both Josh and Craig. How y'all? Well, we're great. Craig, how's your son doing? And best wishes to y'all in Vegas.
Great. They're all my grandkids. I got a new grandson doing awesome, Judah, and my other two twins. So they're awesome, and so the family's doing great. Thanks for asking.
Excellent. Okay, guys. Most of my warm market says they love the product but can't afford it. How do I develop a new warm market?
But the problem is they haven't tried it. So they might go on your Facebook page or your back office and see the price of the product. You just sell them. You can't make a decision until you touch it and feel it, and it's not going to cost you anything. I'm going to put it on you. So, I mean, that's where you have to start. Nothing's too expensive when it's as good as what we got. But if somebody doesn't try it and they look at the price, they might think, well, that's really expensive, but they don't know how little you need. You know, like I did, I was putting some eye serum on a couple days ago, and I put 2 pumps, and Dana goes, what are you doing? And I go, I'm putting my eye serum on. She goes, 1 pump. So, I mean, it doesn't need anything, you know. Josh is muted, so. But anyway, you know, again, put product on them. Let them try it. To say it's too expensive before they try it, you know, it's like, I don't think you're going to think that new Tesla, the fastest one that goes 0 to 100, I don't think you're going to think that's too much for it if you ever drove one, right? So it has to do with the quality, right?
100%. That's absolutely right. Let's see here. Best way to approach salons and spas. I don't really do that, guys. I know Craig doesn't either, so I'm sorry. That's not a good question for us. I think that's it, guys. You know, there's a lot more stuff going on, but we're at 8:32 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Typically we don't go this long. This is about an hour and a half, but we want to stay on and answer all the questions. Craig, thanks so much for your time and energy and effort and all that you bring to that secret community. Yeah. You're just phenomenal. Next week we've got Zach Cheney. Next week you want to be on here. We're going to wreck it.
Zach's fired up. He's amazing. And when Zach talks about the way he promotes this event, some of you will double your numbers just by listening to Zach, what he has to say, what he shares. He's strong, but he's so connected, so relatable. So get on next week's and get your new people on. Get your new people on that maybe aren't coming to convention yet or don't know how to ask their people to come. Get them on the call. The webinar next week. And thanks, Josh, for going to this format for Sunday nights. I just think it's so much better than the phone calls. So thank you for doing it. I know you endless amount of webinars for you. It's crazy, but we'll see you when you get home on the 11th. So God bless.
I appreciate you. And hey, guys, just so you know, you might see a lot of people using the movement tag on their Facebook. You know, what's it called? Your profile pic. Yeah, profile picture. If you could change it. We're going to start having everyone change it just for the next few weeks, so we're getting a lot of attention. And here's why it will work for you. You know, your network, especially if you're new, they're not going to know what it is. It's just a way for them to approach you and say, hey, what is this? What's this all about? And you can say, man, we're going to Vegas. The company's having a huge party, huge convention to kind of celebrate the massive growth. People are becoming millionaires. It's unbelievable. Really. What's this all about? Man, I'll come over and show you. You know, go over there, show them some product, and you can start to, it's another way to expose someone to the opportunity and get some interest to the convention. So change that profile pic. You'll see me do that here soon. I just got to figure out how. I'm not the best at that, but I'm gonna find out. You can get the picture in the back office from the website. Register. See you on next week. Again, we're gonna have the recognition there. Some more incredible, exciting news from the company. Craig, again, thank you. God bless you all, and have a wonderful, wonderful evening or day wherever you are in the world. Bye bye.